ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده تعالى ونستغفره ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبد الله ورسوله أرسله بالهدى ودين الحق ليظهره على الدين كله وكفى بالله شهيدا. فصلوات الله وسلامه عليه. Indeed, all praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one and only, the one who is only worthy worship of Allah, the only one who is worthy of worship. And we give our salah, our prayer, and we give our praises to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him the highest place in paradise which he has promised him. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the evils within ourselves and the consequences of our evil actions. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us in this beautiful month and outside of it and until the next one. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive our sins. يَا أَيُّهَا النَّاسُ اتَّقُوا رَبَّكُمُ الَّذِي خَلَقَكُم مِّن نَّفْسٍ وَاحِدَةٍ وَخَلَقَ مِنْهَا زَوْجَهَا وَبَثَّ مِنْهُمَا رِجَالًا كَثِيرًا وَنِسَاءً واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant us taqwa, piety, consciousness of Him, a relationship with Him. And know that the reward of piety, of taqwa, is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make things good for us. He will make our actions sound good, leading to something that is good and beneficial to ourselves. Amma ba'd. This is Ramadan. We are in our second Jum'ah of Ramadan. It is the month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave mankind the two greatest blessings they have ever seen, they have ever received. And that is the blessing of the Quran and the blessing of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, which remains in his sunnah. So this is a month where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has specified it to fast. For us to give up our desires, to give up our food and drink, our essentials, for a period of time, for an entire month, out of gratitude to Him for what He has given us. شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. The month of Ramadan is the month which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down the Quran to serve as guidance for all of mankind. And therefore it's accessible by all of mankind, Muslim and non. Any person, no matter what their situation is, no matter how smart or how unintelligent they may be, no matter what their language is, no matter who their parents are, or how much what they have done in their life, the Quran is relevant to them and accessible by them. But it takes effort. And the Quran is powerful. The Quran is powerful. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a display of its power, He says, وَلَوْ أَنَّ قُرْآنًا سُيِّرَتْ بِهِ الْجِبَالِ أَوْ قُطِّعَتْ بِهِ الْأَرْضِ أَوْ كُلَّمَ بِهِ الْمَوْتَى. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if there is a Quran, now the word Quran in the Arabic language comes from the root qara'a, which means to read or to proclaim or to recite. So when we verbally recite the Quran, we are performing the verb qara'a. Likewise, when you give salam to someone, right, or ask someone to give salam, say, iqra ala fulan minni salam. Give them salam from me. Also, it means to read something. So when we are reading the Quran from the mushaf, we also say, qara'tu al-Quran. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, if there is something that is recited, a book that has the capability, the power to move mountains, or to split the earth, or to cause the dead to speak, and then he's silent. The verse stops. Because it's a rhetorical question. The answer is no. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala didn't need to say it would be this Quran, because the pagan Arabs, who were the best at language, they knew the power of the Quran. And since today we don't have that ability to, or it's hard to reach that level of Arabic language, there are other ways in understanding this. That whenever Islam enters a land, true Islam, not a forged one, not a fake one, not an adulterated one, whenever true Islam enters a land, whenever the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam enters a land, things change to better. Look at what the early generations of Muslims did. At a time when Europe was going through massive, political unrest, social unrest, the Muslim world was flourishing. They built cities like the present-day Cairo, was built by the Muslims, the early generation, the Sahaba. Baghdad and Kufa, they were built by Muslims. They became the center points of civilization, where Europeans and people from around the world would go to study there. Just like the first generations of Muslims here came to America to get what they offer, or what it offers, from its education, its way of life. Well, back then it was the Muslims, because they had Islam. They were able to change the world in a short period of time because of the power of the Quran and the power of the Sunnah of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But today, us Muslims, we live a very superficial religious life. And what I mean by that is that we only look at Islam from the exterior. If you wear a thobe, you're more religious. If you have a beard, you're automatically more religious. If you read the Quran cover to cover once in Ramadan, you have completed Ramadan. That's it. There's nothing else to do. And that's unfortunate. This is a superficial understanding, application of Islam. So today I'd like to talk about 3 ways present-day Muslims have left the Quran, based on the verse, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad, based on the verse, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. The Prophet ﷺ is complaining to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, saying that my people have taken this Quran, they have left it. They have not given it its proper due. Now, although this verse is meant for the pagans, right, but there's also some spiritual benefit for us that we can take. But before that, we ask my brothers and sisters to please move forward, fill in the gaps. وَجَزَاكُمُ اللَّهُ خَيْرًا. There's some room over here in front of the chairs. And also just a heads up, after prayer, if you'd like to spend 5 minutes to pray the sunnah, please allow a few minutes or a few moments for those who would like to leave or are in a hurry to leave before you start praying. If you need to leave quickly and you'd like to pray the sunnah as well, then please move to a side, a place where you won't be blocking anyone. So 3 ways which present-day Muslims have left the Quran. I don't mean like left it as in they don't believe in it. I mean they're not giving it its proper right. The first one is we've left proper application of it. And I don't simply mean the halal and the haram, because this is obvious. Right? Even someone who might be drinking, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them repent. Right? Or someone who might be doing a major sin, they know in their hearts that this is wrong. Right? They know that they are not properly applying Islam. But today, what I want to focus on are the things we tend to overlook. Manners, etiquettes, dealing with people, how to properly trade and make agreements and commerce. Because the Quran was meant to be applied in everyday life, in every situation. We remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala day and night. And in order for the Quran to be able to move mountains, or in order for us to be able to move mountains with the Quran, we need to apply it on even the most simple aspects of our life. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as he was described, he had kana Qur'anan yamshi. He was a Quran that was walking. If you want to know what the Quran is, how it affects people, how it should be applied, then you have Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his sunnah which remains after him. So Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, everyone here reveres him. Everyone here loves him. Everyone here looks up to him. And no one would deny the opportunity to be more like him. And in order to do that, we need to do what he did. And that is apply the Quran through proper understanding of it. Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala describes him, وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَىٰ خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ. You are even above great manners. Describing him as being a person of great manners isn't enough. He's even above and beyond that. For that reason it came with ala, right? Instead of innaka fi or something else. You are above great manners, beyond that. Someone who anyone throughout history, after his life, whether Muslim or non, can benefit from him. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, just an example of how we can properly apply the Quran. What we need to look at. وَأَحْسِنُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْمُحْسِنِينَ. Do good. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves those who do good. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. And say good to people. Take that one this Ramadan. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to apply everything all at once. But take this one. وَقُولُوا لِلنَّاسِ حُسْنًا. Say good to people. Be a person who encourages, not discourages. Be a person who's constructive, not destructive. Be a person who's optimistic, not pessimistic. And we have Islamophobia who are bullying Muslims. There are actually Muslims who bully Muslims from a spiritual aspect. The sister, she starts wearing hijab, right? It's a new phase of her life. It's not expected of her to just go from one thing to completely a full face veil and full hijab. That's not practical. It's not realistic. Yes, some sisters do it, and may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them for that. But not the average Muslim can go through that. They go through phases slowly, and they're becoming better, right? So maybe a little bit of her hair might be out, or maybe she's wearing jeans instead of, a skirt. So you find Muslims, they will say, oh, look at her. She thinks she's wearing hijab, but she's not wearing hijab. That's bullying. That is not the prophetic way of dealing with people. You see someone, right, who, for example, Muhammad, who's wearing a thobe that's a little bit longer. You find someone, oh look, he's doing isbal, right? His thobe is under his ankles. Look at him, the hellfire. And they start bullying that individual. Even though that individual feels a high of iman, they are thirsty to learn more. But this person comes as if they are a devil and stops them in their path. And then claims to be a person of guidance and someone following the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You find people who their goal in life is to criticize others. Oh, look at the sheikh, he said this wrong. Or look at the sheikh, he misquoted this. Or look at this and that. Or look at the Muslims. Or look at that person. That's all it is. Their mentality is to criticize others. That's spiritual bullying. Or you might find the husband, right? Oh, the food is a little bit salty. Why is it like that? Or the wife, as soon as the husband walks in, where were you? Why didn't you call me? I sent you a message. This and that. And my brothers and sisters, Muhammad ﷺ is the best of the best. And if you study books on how to be influential, they give you these opinions, these rules to follow. One of the main rules is never criticize. You want to be influential? You want to change the minds of people, the hearts of people? Never criticize. Because it never gets the job done. And subhanAllah, when you look at the life of Muhammad ﷺ, Anas ibn Malik, radiallahu anhu, the great companion, said, I served the Prophet ﷺ 10 years. I served him for 10 years. And never once did he say, why did you do this? Or why didn't you do that? And Anas was young, by the way. He was a child. He wasn't old. That is the manners of the Prophet ﷺ. So the first way us Muslims in this generation need to improve in our relationship with the Quran is by applying it, not just the halal and the haram, but actually etiquettes, manners, and even the smallest of details. Number two, we don't ponder upon the Quran. We have left pondering the Quran. The Quran was meant to enter our hearts, not just something that we listen to, and listening to it is good. Not something that we simply recite and then say, Sadaqallahu al-Azim. It's meant to flow through our bodies the way it flowed through the body of Muhammad ﷺ, to the point where he became a walking Quran. It is meant to transform the world around us, not literally, but it's meant to give meaning to everything, so that you live in a world that caters to you, that reminds you of the next life, reminds you of a better life, reminds you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to give you an example, take the verse, أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُسَبِّحُ لَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Do you not see that everything in the heavens and earth is praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Everything. And the word sabaha, subhanallah, which comes from the root sabaha, means to distance. So someone, we say in the Arabic language today, we do the sabaha, sibaha, right? You are swimming. And it's used because when you're on the shore and someone's swimming, they're literally becoming more distant from you, right? So the word subhana is we are distancing Allah from any imperfection. So when everything in this world is doing tasbih for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it means everything is telling you that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is perfect. That's what it is. So when you look at the mountains, it's no longer just land that is elevated due to an earthquake or the moving of the tectonic plates. It is something that links you to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is something that teaches you about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It is something that reminds you of the good of this world. Because in the strength of the mountains, we see the strength of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the beauty of the mountains, we see the beauty of the one who created the mountains. When we see how the mountains really cater to us by making sure the world that we live in is stable, it rotates in a stable way, how it channels water so that it forms into streams and rivers so that we can benefit from it. Remember that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who created it, is the one who caters and helps us. The one who provided us with the Quran to serve as a form of guidance. Did Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not make the stars as a form of navigation for us? The constellations we use, the stars back in the day, today we have GPS, but back in the day they used the stars to reach their point they were traveling to. So if you ever were lost in the ocean or in land and you needed to get home, you have the stars which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has provided you to tell you, go this way. Will Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not then give us something to guide our spirituality, which is through the Quran and which is through Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? أَلَمْ تَرَ أَنَّ اللَّهَ يُسَبِّحُ لَهُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ. Do you not see that everything in this universe praises Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? So when the birds chirp, they are praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's how He created them. Do you not see the way the camel was created? So that we can use it to get through the desert. A desolate land without water, an animal that will cater to us. Do you not see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made this world around us to remind us of Him? Transform the world around you. Make it a paradise by pondering upon the Quran. That is its purpose. If you are seeking happiness in this life, If you are seeking happiness in the next life, it is through the Quran. It transforms your world into something that caters to you, that makes you happy. So wherever you look, east, west, up or down, you remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and how much He loves you, how much He cares about you, how important you are to Him, that He created an entire universe to serve you. Pondering upon the Quran is very beneficial, and it's quite easy. And it's simple steps. Number one, find yourself a book of tafsir. And don't just recite the Quran, learn from it. And learn from the strategy of the companions who said that we would memorize 10 verses of the Quran. It took Ibn Umar radiallahu anh 14 years. Not to memorize the Quran, to memorize Surah Al-Baqarah. Today we compete. My child memorized it at 7 years old, my child at 10. My child recites the Quran once every few days, and right, that's great. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them. But that wasn't the methodology of the companions, who said that we would memorize 10 verses of the Quran and then learn them, make sure we understand them properly, and then apply them before we go on to the next 10. Because they understood the value of the Quran, that the Quran is so powerful it can move mountains. It takes a person who's a killer, who's a murderer, who's a thief, who's a thug, who's a gambler, who's in the deepest depths of darkness, and makes them a leader, someone who guides others. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, أَوَمَنْ كَانَ مَيْتًا فَأَحْيَيْنَاهُ وَجَعَلْنَاهُ نُورًا لِلنَّاسِ. Do you not see the example of someone who was dead, spiritually dead, not physically dead? He was dead, but we gave him the Quran. The Quran entered their heart, and then they became a source of light for all of mankind. Do you not see how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes the seed of a tree, the seed of a plant, puts it in the floor and makes it split so a tree comes out and it benefits others? Right? Take the seed as an analogy to the heart, a dead heart. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Quran, He revives that dead heart. He splits it and makes it like a tree that benefits others. That is the Quran. So when Allah says that the Quran is able to move mountains and split the earth and make the dead talk, it's also saying that if the Quran enters your heart, it changes you. Number 3 is that we don't use the Quran, we don't see it as our source of guidance. What I mean by that is that when we have a problem in our life, we have a challenge that we want to overcome, whether it's in the business world, the spiritual world, the family life. The Quran gives us principles, guidelines to get through that. Not just to get through it, but to reach the other side in a better state. That is through the Quran. The Quran caters to you. It's meant for you. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us understand how to connect to the Quran and to help us overcome the challenges of leaving the Quran. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala. Just a few fiqh issues that I'd like to present during this month. Number 1, fasting Ramadan is a pillar of Islam. Right? When it's a pillar of Islam, it means this is something that props up your Islam. If that pillar is gone, your iman is in trouble. Therefore, we need to take fasting seriously. The reason I say this is because I keep getting questions and I keep hearing about people who really just, for any reason, they say break your fast. Right? My child is going to a birthday party. Go ahead and break your fast. Right? My child is going on a trip. Go ahead and break your fast. You know, sometimes there are excuses. That trip is a very long trip. It's over 50 miles. They could break their fast because they're a traveler. But this isn't something for any random person to decide. Because this is serious, brothers and sisters. And I'll give you an example. If someone were to say, here's a plate of pork, eat it, we would feel disgusted. Well, breaking your fast without a reason in Ramadan is worse than eating pork. So take it seriously. It is a pillar of your faith. So do not break your fast until you get a proper fatwa. Some of the excuses for breaking fast is traveling, which is 50 miles. Number 2 is illness. If you have an illness, you are sick, you have a virus, you have a cold, right? You have a diabetes or whatever, that is a reason. For women, if you are pregnant or you are nursing, that is also a valid excuse for breaking your fast. Zakat al-Fitr is $10 per person. If you are the financial supporter of the household, it is obligatory to pay for yourself and all those who you are obligated to spend upon. So your wife and all of your children, no matter how young. So if you have an infant that's 2 days old, you still need to pay Zakat al-Fitr for them. We ask that you pay it as soon as possible so that we are able to manage how to distribute it, and we are able to distribute it on the day of Eid so that no one on Eid feels that they have nothing to enjoy themselves with for that day. You have until, or from the beginning of Ramadan until Eid prayer, we ask that you give it ASAP. We have several announcements. There's a request for a dua for Brother Nahid Hafiz. This individual he really helps the Masjid Allah. He offers a lot of services to them. So he's in a coma right now. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help him recover from that coma and to grant his family patience. And as a reminder, brothers and sisters, dawu mardakum bis-sadaqah, right? Heal your ill, those who are ill in your family, with charity. If there is someone who is going through an illness, who's going through a rough time, then every day give charity, even if it's a little amount. You know your financial capabilities, even if it's a little bit amount, give it day after day after day. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will heal that person. Make dua for Rashid Khalil, also Suhail Rafi'a, I'm assuming, and make dua for Sattar Mansouri and Abdul Mannan Qudus, who all passed away. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant them forgiveness and to grant them paradise in this blessed month. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to overlook their sins and to allow them to choose them to be amongst those who He frees from the hellfire in this month. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make their grave a piece of paradise, to protect them from any unfortunate consequences of their actions. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant their family patience and to give them the strength to continue to give them reward and gift them reward throughout their lives. And also make dua for Ijaz Nabi, who was diagnosed with cancer. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them through their hard times and to cure them and to heal them. Pillars Academy graduation gala is tonight at 5 p.m. at Norman Murray Community Center. Please support them and purchase your tickets outside. Zakat al-Fitr is $10 per person. That includes infants, as I mentioned. Remember to purchase your weekend iftar tickets outside, $8 per person, and they're on Saturdays and Sundays. The high school qiyam is tonight. We are looking for volunteers to pack 1,500 hygiene kits. Please sign up at the office or the sign-in sheet, which is normally on the table between the two bathrooms during Taraweeh. This is the humanitarian effort. We do this every year, so please help support us. OCIF's all-night qiyam will be on June 8th. This is a community qiyam for everyone. It will be on Friday, June 8th, going into Saturday, so it's convenient for you, which will also be the 25th night of Ramadan, which is a possibility for it to be Laylatul Qadr, so please take this opportunity. The theme of that night will be the beauty of paradise. I myself will be speaking, as well as Sheikh Yasir Fazawa will be here, and Sheikh Uthman, Sheikh Ibrahim Uthman, and Sheikh Zuhair as well. So please join us for the night. Again, that is June 8th. Suhoor will be provided. Allahumma aghfir lil muslimin wal muslimat wal mu'minin wal mu'minat al ahya'i minhum wal amwat innaka sami'un qareeb wa mujibu da'wat ya rabbil alameen. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to forgive us and help us get through this month and help us do as much good deeds as we can during this blessed month. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our deeds, to overlook our shortcomings, and to let us finish Ramadan in a better state than when we started it. Wa aqimus salam.